Welcome to the January 13, 2025 City of Fraser Regular Planning Commission meeting. Please place any cell phones or any other devices that might disrupt this meeting in silent mode or turn it off. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? First item on the agenda is calling the meeting to order and Pledge of Allegiance, which we just did. Agenda item number 2 is the roll call. Mr. Clerk, would you please do the roll call?
You want to swear in our members first? Or
You want to do it first or the roll call?
We'll do it first. Then we can
Okay,
call them in
all
as
right.
official members, okay?
We have 3 members who've been reappointed to our Planning Commission. One member, unfortunately, is not here this evening, but our clerk is going to, what's the word?
Swear them in?
Swear him in for this evening, yes. So Commissioner Meyer and Commissioner Warnick, please.
Please rise for me. Okay. Put your hand up over your heart, whichever one you're more comfortable with, and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
of the Office of Planning Commissioner
of the Office of Planning Commissioner
in and for the City of Fraser,
in and for the City of Fraser,
County of Macomb,
County of Macomb,
State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
Welcome back. You're official.
Hey,
You have 2 copies at your desk. Please sign those for me, and then I'll sign them, and you get to keep one, and I'll take one back.
thank
Okay?
you, August. Thank you
No
very
problem.
much. Yes, we're happy to have both of you back on board here. Mr. Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Barr. I don't have Barr's the wrong one. It's the wrong. Sarnecki, that's what I'm supposed to have first.
Present.
Farina?
Here.
Kyle?
Here.
Meyer? Here. Tuller?
Here.
Warnick? And Joanne is absent.
We have a quorum present. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Joanne Barr is not here this evening. We received the sad news that her daughter has passed away. That's the reason why she's not here this evening. She asked that I share the information with everyone in the audience and those, at home in the audience. I guess her daughter, Laura Perry, as well as Laura's late husband, John Perry, they have very well known within the city of Fraser. So if you know the Barr family, please reach out to them and, give them your condolences. I will entertain a motion to excuse member. Remember Barr, okay. Moved by Commissioner Farina, support by Commissioner Meyer to excuse member Barr. Would you please do a roll call, August?
Zarnecki?
Yes.
Farina? Kyle?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Tuller?
Yes.
Warnick?
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Agenda item 3, approval of the agenda, January 13, 2025. I do have 2 changes to the agenda, and we are going to, agenda item 6, A3, Site Plan 24-08. The applicant has asked to postpone that item to our February meeting. And the other item, a correction to our agenda, is add agenda item 12, the adjournment. Any discussion or any other changes to the agenda? Okay, if not, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda as revised
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as advised.
and support.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Kyle and support by Commissioner Warnick to approve the January 13, 2025 agenda as revised. Would you please do a roll call?
Barr is absent. Zarnecki?
Yes.
Farina?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Meyer? Tuller?
Yes.
Warnick?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. Agenda item 4 is the chairperson's opening remarks. Tonight's meeting will follow the agenda that was posted online and has been printed for you here and is available at the entrance to the room. It is important to let everyone know that the Planning Commission is created by state law. The commission is comprised of 7 members, all of whom have volunteered to serve. Members are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by city council. The role of the Planning Commission is to plan and promote the efficient, coordinated development of the city for the health, safety, and general welfare of its residents. We are not here to negotiate with applicants or allow everything an applicant is requesting. However, the Planning Commission does have the power to approve certain requests and recommend others, depending on the nature of the requests and whether all of the standards in the zoning ordinance have been met. The Planning Commission may also impose conditions on a proposed project in order to ensure that those standards are met. Other individuals seated here this evening are the city's legal representative from O'Reilly Rancilio, PC, Alexander Hishon, the city's planner, Lauren Sayre from McKenna and Associates, and the city clerk, August Gischlag. We have no public hearings this evening, so we will go forward with the agenda. Agenda item 5, approval of minutes, December 4, 2024. Any comments on the minutes as presented? Discussion, none. I will entertain a motion to approve the December 4, 2024 minutes as prepared.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as prepared.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Kyle and support by Commissioner Trevor to approve the minutes as prepared. Would you do a roll call, please, August?
Barr is excused. Zarnecki?
Yes.
Farina?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Tuller?
Yes.
Warnick?
Yes.
Thank you.
Agenda item 6, new business, site plans AI, site plan number 24-04, 34625 Utica Road, Mr. Car Wash, site plan amendment. Lauren, are you ready to give us your report?
Yes, thank you, Chair Zarnecki.
You're welcome.
Let me adjust this. So the applicant is Mr. Car Wash. The location is at 34625 Utica Road, and then part of 34835 Utica, which is the Meyer lot. So the applicant previously at the last Planning Commission, as I'm sure everyone's familiar, received conditional approval contingent on all the necessary lot splits and combinations being achieved, cross-access parking agreement provided in a form satisfactory to the city attorney prior to the issuance of any certificates of occupancy. A variance for lighting or compliant photometric plan must be submitted. Planning Commission approved the EFIS and does not require a loading space, and additional tree is required, and a bike rack shall be provided. So the applicant is returning tonight to seek a site plan amendment. They have changed their south lot line, so they would not need a cross-access agreement, and this would be consistent with the site plan amendment and variance that Meyer received for their parking reduction. So we are here to amend the site plan and the conditions, mainly, again, to remove that cross-access agreement, but then also approve the updated site plan with that boundary change. And then just wanted to note that the special land use for the outdoor vacuums is not being considered tonight. Nothing is changing with that. So,
Sarah? Go ahead.
yes.
Where?
Yeah, so that being said, the outstanding items, or the items that we would recommend Planning Commission change the site plan approval to would be, again, that the necessary lot splits and combinations are administratively achieved, that a variance for the lighting to exceed the maximum illumination levels must be obtained, or a compliant photometric plan will be submitted. Again, we'll note that the EFIS is approved and that the loading space is not required, and then the bicycle parking. The extra tree for the frontage landscaping was provided. But other than that.
It was provided on the revised,
It was provided on the revised.
so we can eliminate that item too?
We can eliminate that item as a condition, yes.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Sierra? Any discussion on the item? Okay, would the applicant please come forward for Mr. Car Wash? State your name and address for the record, please.
Jamie Antonevich with Atwell, 12745 23 Mile, Shelby Township. Civil engineer representing Mr. Car Wash.
Do you have any comments or,
Nope, nothing really to add. I think that summarized, why we're here today. The main change was to adjust the property lines to be consistent with the Meyer approval. As noted, we did add the tree that was missing on the front. And we don't really have any other issues with the conditions listed. If EFS is approved like last time, no loading is approved, and then, we'd add a bike rack or bike parking spot to address the other conditions.
Fancy bike rack.
Sure, yeah. Other than that, I'm here to, answer any questions that might still remain.
Okay. Any of our members have questions for the applicant? No?
Covered this pretty good.
Commissioner Farina?
Mr. Attorney, they come back to the zoning board because of the mistake that we made at the last meeting, calling for a simple majority rather than a supermajority.
That's correct. The
If we approve the site plan, how does that, and what happens if it doesn't go through tomorrow night?
what do you mean if it doesn't go through tomorrow night? They have to get they would have to get the approval of the zoning variance at the next zoning board meeting here that's coming up. So the site plan is conditioned upon them getting that.
Okay.
Or providing a
Right.
compliant.
If you don't get the variance, you have to provide a
Right.
Right.
Yep.
compliant
Yeah.
photometric plan. You have any other questions, Frank?
Nope.
Okay. Commissioner Tuller, did you have a question? No.
Not at this time.
Okay.
Covered this one good.
Okay. Commissioner, any other questions? Applicant, you can be excused if you like. Commissioner Tuller, you made that resolution before. Would you like to go forward with the site plan
Ooh.
amendment?
Yes. So I would like to approve the site plan with some conditions here. Those conditions would be the necessary lot splits and lot combinations are administratively achieved. A variance for the lighting to exceed the maximum illumination levels must be obtained, or a compliant photometric plan must be submitted. Planning Commission, we approve the EFS and the loading space, and the bicycle parking must be provided.
Okay. And for clarifications, Commissioner Tuller, just state the site plan number.
Yes, of course. So that would be site plan SP 24-04 34625 Utica Road, Mr. Car Wash.
Thank you. And support for that motion?
I'll support.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Tuller and support by Commissioner Warnick to grant site plan amendment approval to site plan 24-04, Mr. Car Wash. Would you please do a roll call, August?
Commissioner Bart is absent. Sarnecki?
Yes.
Farina?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.
Tuller?
Yes.
Warnick?
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you very much. Pass, good luck, and you'll be at the ZBA meeting. I assume you will be, Jamie? Chris will be. Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 6A2. Do I want to ask anybody in the audience?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on this application? No, let the record reflect there was no one present. Thank you, Frank. New business 6A. 2, site plan 24-07, 33420 Utica Road duplex on condominiums. Ms. Sear, would you please give us your report?
All right, thank you, Chair Zarnicki. So this site is at 33420 Utica Road. It is zoned RM, which does not allow for a multiplex development. However, the applicant was approved for a use variance for 14 residential units consisting of 7 duplex buildings. So the in terms of the dimensional requirements, their side yard appears to be compliant. However, we would request that the applicant provide the dimensions so that we can confirm that it is compliant. And then slight error, I put the building height. Again, it appears compliant, but we would like the exact building height noted on the site plan. So that should actually be one row down. So I appreciate Chair Zarnicki catching that for me. We'd also like the parking spaces to be dimensioned so that we can confirm that they are meeting the dimensional requirements, the 9 feet by 20 feet. There's a 7-foot sidewalk, so it it could be reduced to 18, but again, we'd like those dimensions so we can verify that. Additionally, we would like the dimensions for the ADA spaces to confirm that they are meeting the federal requirements. In terms of landscaping, the applicant has not submitted a landscape plan, so we would request that they submit a landscape plan for review. Additionally, details of the trash removal plans be provided. And then regarding screening, there's an existing wall to the south, which is RH zoned, it's the Fraser Villa. But we would require a screening wall along the rear lot, which is the east side, for those single-family homes to screen between those and the development. Additionally, we require photometric plans to be submitted and compliant with Section 3286. Public safety reviewed it and engineering reviewed, and these were both provided to the applicant. The main issue that public safety has is the fire hydrants and ensuring that access is provided either through an easement or with the creation of a new hydrant. There are hydrants for the Newberry condominiums to the north, but they would have to receive an access agreement to utilize those. So public safety wanted to know the plans for that, and engineering comments were provided. I won't get into those. So at this time, since the applicant has several outstanding items, we recommend the applicant revise and resubmit their plan. If Planning Commission is comfortable with approving it at this point in time, we recommend it be conditioned on the following: that the applicant provide the dimensions for the side and rear setback compliant. That should probably actually be the building height. Apologies. The applicant provide parking stall dimensions that are compliant with Section 3294 and federal requirements for all parking spaces, both barrier-free and non-barrier-free. The applicant provide a landscape plan compliant with Section 3284. The applicant provide details of trash removal plans. The applicant provide adequate screening that's compliant with Section 3282 along the rear property line. And the applicant should prepare and submit a photometric plan compliant with Section 3286. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sarah. What type of screening would have to be on the rear? What would be?
So it would either have to be a 4 to 6 foot masonry wall or
426, okay.
426, not a 46-foot tall wall. Yeah, 426.
Masonry.
That it's at the Planning Commission's discretion. They're also able to do a fence with a green belt if a wall is not achievable. That's again at the Planning Commission's discretion.
Fence with a green belt.
A 10-foot, yes, 10-foot green belt.
What type of fence would it be, or could it be?
It could be chain link.
Chain link?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Farina?
Doesn't there have to be a berm? Just gotta-
That's an option. It's not required. It's an option.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Sarah?
Did we get any mail from the residents?
Not for this one. No public hearing went out for this, as it's a site plan.
It's a site plan. There's no mailing required. We can ask the applicant if he reached out to the neighbors. That would be a good question.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Would the applicants please come forward? State your name, address for the record, and your association with the applicant. That would be helpful.
Good evening and thanks for having us tonight. My name is Osama Razzouk and I have here 33420 Utica Road. I have here with me Mr. Larry, the engineer, and my brother Ayad Razzouk.
We need to have Larry name and address.
My name is Larry Marogi. I'm from Baring Construction and Consulting in Farmington Hills.
Thank you, sir. Do either one of you would you like to, any further comments, explain anything?
I would like to state we agree with all 6 conditions. And tonight I want to shine some lights on 4 of those items.
Okay.
And I think for the setback condition, we have 6.5 foot for the side setback and 30 feet for the rear setback. And we got the building height, which is 28 feet and 8 inches.
You went way too fast for me, so Osama. So what's your side rear setback?
6.5 feet.
Okay, and your rear?
30,
Okay. And the building height again?
28 feet and 8 inches.
Okay, thank you, sir.
For the second condition, for the parking stall dimensions, we have 9 feet by 18. Condition number 4, for the trash removal plan, we suggest each family dwelling unit will have their own roll-out trash receptacle. Condition number 5, for screening the rear property line, we will have 6 feet high, 6-inch thick brick appearance concrete wall, if you agree with that.
Any more? Go ahead.
And for the rest, for the other 2 conditions left, the landscape and the photometric design, we'll have them both shown in the revised drawings.
Say that again, I'm sorry, sir.
For the landscaping design and the photometric design, we'll have them both shown in the revised drawings.
Okay, okay, all right.
I think I think I made enough copies of those conditions.
Thank you. That's helpful, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm going to appreciate it more than they will, trust me. Perfect.
Okay, Ms. Lauren, or Ms. Sear, I'm sorry. So the setbacks the applicant is proposing, do they meet requirements?
The setbacks meet requirements, the parking stall meets requirements. I still want the barrier-free spaces dimensions.
Okay,
And the parking sizes meet only because of the overhang?
That's correct.
Okay.
okay, thank you. Is it required to have a dumpster if the individual homes have their own trash pickup?
It's not required to have a dumpster.
So it's
no.
not required then? Okay. Commissioner Warnick.
I'm going to start with that, the dumpster. With the development you have here, there's no garage, there's no storage area, and people are not going to bring the receptacles that the city provides for each one of them into a house that has no, you don't even have room to put a deck on the back. You can't put decks on the back of this. There's no additional thing. I would think the only possible way is a dumpster or a building where they all can store their receptacle, but how does that roll off? How does that work for them to bring their trash all the way into a building? You're better off with a dumpster, because the big thing is you are facing another development that has done all those things, has the dumpsters. I'm glad you said about the back wall, you're going to do masonry wall, to be consistent with that one. This would not even fit in with this community if you didn't do that. Because the way, just, I'm talking what, you know, because there's stuff in our master plan that talks about appearance. So that's my biggest concern starts with that. There's no way a roll-off would work, a rolling receptacle for each one. There's no way they're going to bring it up through their front door and put it anywhere. Oh, they got a basement. They're not going to bring it down to a basement. There's no way they can do it. If you've seen our receptacles that they provide, yeah, it won't work. You can't leave it outside. It's an enforcement issue. So now you're going to have overflowing. People don't always keep them filled only to the top and keep the top on. So I think your only way, and that's the way I won't approve this without that, without a dumpster. And that means screening the dumpster. And the perfect example is right next door, because the way they have 2 dumpsters there, but none of them have a garage, and that's really the only thing you can do. If you had a garage, this whole thing would be different. If each unit had their own garage space or a storage attachment, maybe an outdoor storage thing, that becomes part of the structure or so if it can meet the setbacks, but I don't think it can.
Like a bin, something
Yeah.
to restore it.
Somewhere to keep it in. You could almost do a privacy fence, and they keep it in there. But nobody would stand for the look of that in this community.
And we cannot have them along the south wall? The south wall, yeah, and further back?
Further back against that south wall.
Along the existing wall.
I think we'd have some complaints probably with rats and smells, and so there's some setback issues I would put it with. Enforcement is going to be involved here, because as soon as you start doing, you can't guarantee that every one of these occupants they're not going to treat it the same no matter what. The only way is going to be a dumpster that they can take their trash to, and it's important. Trash, I'd like to think it was a perfect world and they all would do something, but it ain't going to happen no matter what. But we have to look at this. This is a big thing for this development. And to be consistent with all the other ones, we don't want to, you did great by adding brick up the front. I know the planner cited some other things of maybe articulation and and I don't know if you understand what she said, what that is, and that's like different wall recesses, faux windows, false windows maybe to give an appearance, or building. I think you did great with the front porch, because that right there does it. It gives some appearance of that. We're trying to keep it looking. You got to remember, the ones across from you are completely brick compared to yours. Now, you got a lot of siding still on this. So we're trying to keep an appearance that keeps this community. You're working with this community here that we want to see is successful. We even have a apartment building, maybe 3 lots to the north. And they went with brick and different types of brick to give some appearance.
Different color scheme.
Yeah, different, and color makes a difference too. So we're trying not to have a plain thing. I know that the easiest ways to do that, the cost savings, you make more money, but people will pay for things that are different. If you give them different things on there, maybe that, gets a different monthly fee or whatever. These are condos, right?
Right.
So, we want you to be successful,
Thank you.
but we don't want our community to be degraded.
I understand that.
So I'm going to be staunch on that, and I'm not going to budge that we don't get something to make this work. That's my biggest concern, is that one. I appreciate a lot of the stuff you did to add to some appearance, instead of like some of them, that apartment complex recessed the porches so people could sit outside. They could put chairs there. And look, you have nowhere. They can't put a deck on the back of these. You have a 6.5-foot setback, which is the rear of these, actually. Even though the rear of the property is facing east, the rear of these units is only 6.5 feet. That's really not very acceptable when it comes to noise. People want to gather outside. Let's face it, people are going to gather outside in the summer and spring and have some kind of partying thing. There's no way they could do it here. Now, the other thing is, did we have anything like a park on this requirement?
This isn't, it's not a cluster development or
right,
anything
it's not a
like
cluster.
that, so it doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm concerned that where are they going to gather outside? So this is something you can do. It's not a requirement, but it's something you can do. I'm concerned with the round traffic flow.
I think we still can change the setback, make it 5 by 8. instead of 6.5 and 6.5.
5 on the north side?
Yes.
And 8 in
And
the
8,
back? Yeah,
yes.
but and I would recommend that. Give them room where it's going to come in. That north side, really, you've got a lot of room between them other houses and that, and driveway and them. They have carports over there. So you got a good area there. So I would keep that to the minimum and give more to the people in the back.
5 and 8.
And now, I don't know if you just gained 2 feet or so on the, your drawing will show it with the parking going to 18. Because I don't know if you had them originally planned as 20, or were you always planned as 18?
18.
18 plus 2 overhang.
2 overhang, yes.
And I put the sidewalk as a 7 feet, so the 2.
That's the other thing I was going to say, because you want enough room on the sidewalk
I put it 7 feet
for flow.
because the minimum is 5 feet.
Yep.
So when there is overflow, overhang,
You'll still have 5 feet minimum. Yeah. So that's good.
excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about screening for the cans, if we put them outside. Are we allowed to do that?
That's something where we'd have to approve it. I guess we'd have to see what can be, because back to these, are they at the tightest setback between them? Between all the units? I can't remember.
So
25 feet now I have.
25 feet between?
Now it is 25 feet, but I don't know what's the setback between them. I think it's much less than that.
I don't think well, for one thing, you don't have sidewalks going around to the back. So they're not going to roll them on grass. You know what I mean? You'd have to put a pad, and then you got to figure out a way that they can roll these out, because you got snow during the winter, you got mud maybe, or a soft. They're not going to go on grass and create something that destroys the landscape appearance. So we're concerned with all that stuff. So think about it, because you definitely have some work to do no matter what. So that's mine. I don't know how the rest of the board feels with all that, but there's some other concerns like the circular. Is it checked that the fire department can circulate in that round circle driveway at the end? Do we know did they approve that?
Does it appear to have been addressed based on the revised plan?
Yeah, it appears on the stuff that,
yeah, Captain Gillies didn't mention any concerns. He mentioned he saw that, and he saw the revised drawing, and he didn't have concerns with that. It was more the fire hydrant.
I just wanted to make sure, because it drew right out to me. I don't know what you're going to have there, people parking back there or what, but needs to get a fire truck around there. But I think you got an area to put a little park area, maybe in that circular area or something, so people can walk. Pedestrian traffic, pedestrian friendly, and they can hang out there. That's how you make friends with your neighbors, is by maybe just hanging out, walking the dog or doing something, so that's something I'm putting out there too.
Yeah, we will address that as a part of the landscaping.
Yeah.
Commissioner Farina?
Yeah, I'm with Randy, you can't do that, but the ordinance does not allow people to put their trash container in front of their home. It does allow it along the side of their house. Okay, so if you could make like a little fence, and with a path, that would, I think, you have to check with the boss there, but,
And
Yeah.
the screening should be like any material or certain material you have for the screening?
Ms. Sarah, go ahead.
So section 9 of the Code of Ordinances has the fencing requirements. I believe, they don't specify necessarily it has to be a certain one. This would be a privacy screen. So I can get back to you with those exact provisions. But I believe it could be, wood. It's probably likely what you would do.
There is beautiful vinyl screens.
yeah.
Yeah, that should be acceptable as well. And I wanted to note also that the side setback requirements, the rear setback, the setbacks it's a building setback. So I think maybe you were thinking it was the driveway, but it's building, so. Just point of clarity.
Because if we put dumpster enclosure, this will take 1 unit, 2 units actually.
Two.
I put it in the beginning, but then I removed it, and I used the rollout cans. That's why, if you want to put dumpster, I have to remove the middle units, 2 units, which we will.
You would, well,
Yeah,
you would eliminate 1 unit or 2?
2 units.
2. Okay. And Commissioner Warnick, where would you propose the open space?
They could, in the circular area around the Circle Drive.
Okay, okay. I mean, all you need is a little bit of a grassy area.
Yeah, just something, maybe some
barbecue
benches
grill.
or something, and yeah.
Because you might have pets in the homes also, you might have to have somewhere to go.
It's nice to have a walking area like, and
Is it a viable development if you remove 1 or 2 units? You don't have to answer that, but it poses a challenge.
I try to avoid this. And because all the entrances of all the houses are on the first floor, there is nothing on the second floor, so that's why the cans is easy. Everybody can bring his can out. And,
well, where are they being picked up? Have you talked to the service that you'd have to have your own service? Or because if you use the city service, they want it by the road. So that means they're going to have to wheel them out by the road. They're not going to come anywhere in that development and pick up a roll-off container, a receptacle. So the way it's done, it's all at the street. So a lot of things come into play, maybe with a condominium, having like the service for your snow, for your lawn cutting and all that kind of stuff. Because people that want to add a little garden maybe by the side, they can do it, but they got nowhere to put their tools, maybe in the basement, and that's it. So the way this house is, you've maximized everything, so there's no storage areas. So I'm just thinking of people when they get into a place like this, they want to dress up, they're outside, and you see it all the time, that they make theirs look different from the other one by doing something. But when it comes to those receptacles, I don't know how they're going to do it without you maybe having their own service. I mean, that's what the rollout, let's face it, the roll-offs are you're getting, or the dumpster, are you getting a service to empty them. You're not getting the city services. So when you get a receptacle like that, who does that? I don't know if a service comes and will come along, and where are they going to put them? You can't use the parking spots. You can't, where are you going to put the receptacles? You got 14 of them, and some might want 2. Who knows? And we've got recycling and everything too. How are they broken up into anything like that? So I don't think you're going to be able to use the city services in this complex. And that's why the dumpster thing. That's why.
so I think if we put it there on the sidewalk, on the walkway, beside those, the 7-feet walkway, is not enough? Is not accepted?
I can't tell you. I don't think so. There's not, where are you going to put, 14 of them?
Are you going to shield them?
What's that, Frank?
How are you going to shield them?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They're just going to stop on Utica for 10 minutes and just pick them up one after another after another? It's a lot.
Yeah, you got to look at it, especially with days that they don't do it and they're out, people put them out the day they're normal and then they're put off till the next day or something, or,
Ms. Sayre, you have more to say?
This might have been a little more relevant previously, but just another point of clarity. I noted in here that the pedestrian circulation, we'd like to see that connected to the public sidewalk. There's not an ordinance that we could tie it back to. I will note that in Mr. Vigneron's letter, he requires that, so there's probably something from the engineering side that would require that, so just a note that would be required to
Right.
connect up to that sidewalk.
Updated this drawing, and I connected this to the sidewalk.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Interested in a revised drawing, extending the 7-feet walkway all the way to that street side.
All right,
Good.
thank you.
Actually, the extension is 5 feet wide. You don't need it 7 feet.
Yeah.
Have you reached out to any of the neighbors to just tell them about your development? Okay.
They did receive notice when the use variance and some residents from the Newberry Brook condominiums came to the public hearing at the ZBA meeting.
Oh, okay, all right.
None of the houses from behind, though? The ones on Otto?
None of the houses came, no, I
No.
didn't receive any comments.
Well, they'll be happy because they're getting a masonry wall now. And so that'll blend in good.
Can I ask if the public comments were favorable? Or do you don't remember or recall, or?
No.
Okay. All right, any further discussion or questions for the applicants? From my perspective, I think you need to go back to the drawing board, make some improvements, some changes. We can postpone your item if you would like to come back in front of us. Okay.
Can I squeeze those, the distance, those units, like the distance to make it less than 25? Is it okay with you?
I would have to confirm with the building official on the minimum that they would need for that.
I tried to find the minimum distance between those units. I did not find it.
It's a bit unique since it's a use variance in the RM district, so it's not, there's no standards because this use isn't usually permitted in the RM district. So by that, I would just look for the building official to say how much he needs per the building code between buildings. So again, I can follow up on that, but I don't have that answer at this moment.
And ZBA's approval didn't have any conditions?
It did have conditions, one moment.
I didn't bring it.
I'd have to look that up real quick.
Okay, well, no, I'm just, they're gonna come back anyway, so I'm just trying to cover you so you can, what you have to work with.
So I think the only problem is the dumpster, is the trash.
No,
There's,
Everything is
what else do we have?
updated.
Oh, Randy mentioned places for people to gather,
Yeah.
No, they got the area.
you know,
Definitely be a bike rack.
like a
Yeah.
patio kind of area.
On each unit, is that what you're saying, Mr. Farina? Is there room to put a balcony or patio on each unit? For you to work out. It's something you have to work out. So I guess what we're asking for, and correct me anybody, is some type of open space or meeting area, a solution for the trash removal, some articulation in the architecture, some type of variation between each unit. Anything else that we want them to address?
I have a question, if I may. How many parking spots? There's 32 parking spots here?
42,
42? And how many are required, sir?
42.
42? I think if you got, what, 2 cars per unit? That's
Three cars, there's 3 cars per unit.
3 cars per unit we have now.
3 bedrooms, yeah.
You're tight.
It's tight. It's a tight spot.
Really, really tight. Where are the visitors going to park?
In the
The
driveways.
required is 3 cars per unit, so that's what I put,
They're gonna be designated probably per unit, though, those 3 spaces.
yes.
So a guy come and visit one of the others can't park in those.
And how wide is that roadway? I'm sorry, I just can't read it on here.
Personally, I think you're squeezing way too much into a small area.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for this site being so narrow, you got some great depth in that to work with, and you got that room back there. I just think you're gonna have to gain some spots for visitors. These people have company, and you're gonna have visitors come, and then they can't park anywhere. They're not gonna, believe me, we're going to hear nothing but problems from Newberry Brook if they go park in there and then walk over. Because Newberry Brook has a great layout with the carports and all that and parking. And they can accommodate visitors in that. This one, you wish it was a perfect world and that you can say, well, they're not going to have visitors. They're going to have their 3 for their place. And
Ms. Sarah, is it a requirement to have guest parking?
It's not a
It's
requirement.
not a requirement.
No requirement, only the 3 per unit.
It's a common problem with any type of condominium. It really is.
we want to make these attractive, though, so you can get rid of them
Well,
quick.
sure, you want to
And you got to offer,
find
We're not,
owners.
we're not looking to build a slum.
no, not certain things. Certain things we can.
And I don't mean that you're building a slum. I mean, we want it to be nice and inviting. We want you to be successful. We want it to be a long-lasting community that's successful, so trying to help you in that respect. So do you want a motion to postpone?
Would you consider a postponement and might come back with us with a revised plan? Okay, how much time would you need to work on it? You don't have to tell me, but a month, 2 months?
No.
Or you just want to postpone it?
The next meeting, when will be the next meeting? Or the next-
Oh, next meeting is going to be, I could.
Pretty quick, it's, yeah,
February.
weeks.
What date is it, February
Yeah,
2, 3, I don't have it
yeah, I
in front
can
of me.
work on that, like 1 week is enough for me.
You can work that fast?
I think it's too much, 1 week is good.
One week would not provide us enough time to put it through the appropriate review agencies.
So you need additional time then,
That's correct.
and we need a week to give ahead of time.
right?
Yeah, I've put Mr. Vigneron in a couple of tight spots in the past, and I'm trying
Okay.
to avoid that, but.
Like how many days do I need, a due date for the,
Ask Ms. Sear how many days that she needs ahead of time to be given to us as a board. How much time do you want?
I like it 23 days in advance, which is today.
23 days in advance.
It's just an unfortunate timing thing due to the new year. Usually applicants have more time to revise, but since we're halfway through the month.
Right, we're halfway through the month, which is your
Move
holiday
holiday,
schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
That's correct.
Mr. Hishon, what do you suggest? So if we postpone it, do we need an actual date, or can we postpone it indefinitely until the applicant comes back in front of us?
You don't have to put a certain date on it. So, I mean, if it's possible that it can kind of get through the whole process by our February date, then, but it doesn't sound like it.
It doesn't
So-
sound like it.
so
Yeah, it's almost
maybe,
impossible.
maybe just pick March and just say it's going to be March.
It'll be the first Wednesday of March.
Okay.
5th, I believe.
Okay. All right, thank you, all of you, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hope to have you come back with a super duper plan in front of us. Ms. Sear, go ahead.
Just to kind of close the loop on Commissioner Warnock's question, the conditions for the ZBA approval were regarding the master deed and having that,
Just,
the satisfaction of the attorney before.
okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure they didn't have anything that they,
Yeah. Yeah, there was
in
nothing
their approval, that,
like dimensionally, sure.
okay.
Commissioner
Or a motion
Farina,
to
go ahead.
postpone to the 5th?
Oh, we should
I'm
do
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
I want to make a motion to postpone, hold on. The site plan review and approval for 33420 Utica Road, 03-11-31-427-03, until they come back with the required updates to their plan.
Support for that motion?
No support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Farina and support by Commissioner Kyle to postpone the item until the applicant comes back with the revised plan. Any questions or comments on the resolution on the floor? Okay, roll call, Mr. Clerk?
Or is absent Zarnecki,
Yes.
Farina,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Teller,
Yes.
Warnick.
Yes.
That postpones.
Carries.
And I think we can open and close public comment because there's nobody here.
There's nobody there. Thank you for reminding me. I constantly forget that. Thank you very much. Okay, we are, site plan 24-08, 17689 Masonic has been postponed to our February meeting for the applicant. So we are going forward to new business 6B, other I-1, election of officers. So we are going to take nominations on the floor for the office of chair.
I nominate Kathy.
To whom? Kathy cannot be. That is not. I appreciate it, though.
No, Catherine is chairman now.
No.
I nominate Catherine.
It doesn't
I'd like
work,
to,
Frank.
I would like to nominate Randy.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Kyle and support by Commissioner Farina to nominate Commissioner Warnick as chair. Any other nominations on the floor for chair? None? Commissioner Warnick, you are the chair going forward
If I
by
accept.
acclamation.
If I accept.
Do you accept?
Here, let me get over here a little bit closer.
Yeah, yeah. Ow. Well, since we're getting a raise this year, right. Kathy, I give you credit because I know how much work's involved. And it gives me second thoughts about accepting and that because of, you put a lot of time. I'm going to say you get up to $1 an hour for this on the planning commission. The rest of us get about 2. That's what I figured out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a lot of
So-
work. This
And
chair is tired.
It's amazing. It's been there since I started at the city in '96, and I know it was '93 still.
Yeah.
$20 we get, right? Zoning gets the big bucks,
25.
right? Wow. So it's a bone of contention for me now. The more I think about it, and the more I get to other cities, I just got I do for another city, another township now too. And so my time is a lot on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I might not get back till 5 or 6, I don't know.
There's no pressure.
But,
I mean,
yeah, no,
You're
I just,
feeling
I'm just going through what's going through my mind, all kind of things. And the fact that everybody I've talked to, $100 is the minimum. Now, we all did this because we figure it's our civic duty in that. And I know that's why every one of you did it the same as me. We don't even think about that.
I didn't
It
even know we got
hurts.
paid when we
I
started.
know, but it hurts to see, every time a board member gets more, council and that, they vote their own raises. We can't vote our raises.
No, they don't.
Oh, they go through a board, yeah, that's right, you do that.
They haven't had a raise since I've been on the compensation committee.
Okay. But, it makes you think more and more when you hear it, and I get laughed at. Every other township I go to, and they say, "You're kidding me. And you still do it?" And I said, we didn't join it for that reason. But it does, when you start putting, you know how much gas has gone up. When I started, it was probably 80 cents a gallon, something like that. I don't know. It was over a buck. It was over a buck.
There is a motion on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Just remind me.
That's her way. I'm just dragging it out.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said that.
But I'm using the floor at least.
Do
just
you
to
accept
run
the
it by.
nomination?
I accept the nomination.
Okay.
Okay, so you are chair for the next year by
You have to vote on it. Okay.
I think our meeting is going to be a lot longer with them in the chair.
Objection.
Okay, I will open the floor for nominations for vice chair.
You ready to be the vice
I
chair?
will nominate Renee Meyer for vice chair. Do I have support?
I'll support that.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner With my last name, Zarnecki, and support by Commissioner Kyle to nominate Renee Meyer for vice chair. Ms. Meyer, do you accept that office?
Sure.
Yes? Was that a yes?
It was a yes.
Any
See how
other
quick and easy that is,
nominations?
Randy?
You don't want to prolong it like Randy did?
Any other nominations for vice chair? Okay. Ms. Meyer, you are vice chair by acclamation. We have Mr.
Congratulations.
Do you have a comment?
Thank you.
No, I want to make a
Oh, go ahead for
nomination for secretary, and
Okay.
Mr. Trevor.
Okay.
It would be a good way for him to get his feet wet and looking at, reading, and getting into this. And the secretary is in charge of, incorporating and minutes and saying that, you don't actually take the minutes.
No.
He takes the minutes, and you get with him and he makes sure that you guys are in line. Any comments we have, we either channel them to him or you. And that's
Okay. All right. I accept
Well, we didn't support
the nomination. Oh,
Not official yet.
I'll support it.
It's been
talking
moved,
right at me.
it's been moved by Commissioner Farina and support by Commissioner Warnick to have Commissioner Trevor as our secretary. And you do accept?
I do.
Okay.
Great.
And you are secretary by acclamation.
Beautiful.
Congratulations, you all. Thank you.
How exciting.
It is exciting. And I think Commissioner Meyer can tell you, Mr. Trevor, that it's a fairly simple position to hold.
I haven't had to do anything.
You didn't do anything. I didn't.
I take notes, but that's about it.
I'll remember
Yes.
my laptop next time.
Yes.
Take some more notes.
And I read our bylaws, and it goes into the description of the secretary makes no
And
sense.
Menendez, ZBA. So, yeah.
I don't think the bylaws say anything about how long it takes to accept a nomination, does it?
Unfortunately, no.
So does that mean I get Frank's
Just wanted to
chair
make sure I
now?
wasn't going
I bet
against
he hit a record, though.
The next bylaw committee will take it up.
If you want it.
We, uh,
No, I'm just kidding.
lost my
Fine with where I'm at.
driveway.
It will be.
Yeah.
The Randy rule, yeah.
All right, we are going to go on to unfinished business. No, we're not. We're going to go on to annual planning, zoning report, and the 2025 work plan. It is agenda item B2. And I know, I can't find my material either. I will find it.
In
Because,
the back of this.
yeah. Ms. Sarah, do you have anything to say?
Sure, I can provide an overview real quick. So many of you have done this process before, but it's that time of year when the Michigan Planning Enabling Act requires the planning commissions to submit a report of their 2024 activities. A lot of communities will combine this with the zoning board activities as well, which is what we do. And so this essentially just summarizes the development reviews. I have a note from Chair Zarnicki, or former Chair, I guess, Zarnicki now.
Former.
To move site plan 2304 just to sequentially be in order. So I'll move that in the table just to clean it up a little bit. Otherwise, it just summarizes who was on the board, when meetings were held, what projects were approved, denied, withdrawn, postponed, et cetera. We also noted some ordinance updates for the year, mainly the sign ordinance, which, again, appreciate this board working through that with staff. And then also last year, we started providing zoning administration info just to kind of, just as a kind of a snapshot. So 1,124 permits issued in 2024 and 1,352 enforcements. And then finally, the piece about this, which I think will probably warrant the most discussion, if any, is the 2025 work plan. And this just kind of briefs some projects that Planning Commission might look to undertake in this upcoming year. So a lot of these kind of carry over and have carried over, and some of them we're actually kind of getting started on now. First up, the last master plan was adopted in 2021. That means that 5 years, we'll have to look at it again. So, it's likely this year we'll start to review it and see if there's anything that needs to be changed in those 5 years. It doesn't mean we need a completely new one, just to review it and see if this is still good with Planning Commission.
Excuse me, Mike, the one we just did a few years ago that we completed, what was the one prior to that? Do you know?
Way back.
Yeah, I mean, it was 20 years or so?
Yeah, I'd have to look that up. I don't
That's
know.
not what you.
No, it was done, but it sat in the.
I think it was 2010, actually. I think I have like a, it's like a book, kind of.
But council never approved it. They just sat on it. They had other things on their mind.
Yeah, so some other items that, again, there's some of these are carryover and, again, open to discussion, but we still have the establishment of a DDA, business attraction retention efforts, implementation of new districts, and this one's going to be carried forward with the zoning ordinance update, which is well underway. And then continuing to develop and maintain the sidewalk network. Again, this is one that's already underway with a partnership through AEW and looking at that in a SEMCOG grant. And then we've got the full ordinance update, again, specific things looking at parking minimums, illumination standards, driveways, which we're going to do as the next agenda item. Automatic car washes, as there's a moratorium on them now, so we have time to review that. And then we still do have those transparency requirements to incorporate into that ordinance as well.
We have a lot of work on our,
Busy 2025.
we do. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Sierra. Any questions of Ms. Sierra? I'm so happy that Commissioner Warnick is going to be our chair. Another master plan. Whoa, okay. We did the last master plan during COVID on Zoom, is when we mostly did it. It was hard work.
And I would anticipate that this one wouldn't be as substantial.
Right, right.
Well, the one thing we have to keep in mind is what happened with Sheets kind of blew the center out of the master plan for a downtown district. Okay, so we have to look at how we are going to incorporate a new plan. And I don't know if any of you go up Mound Road where it turns into Auburn and goes through Rochester. Well, Rochester has incorporated into their downtown district a number of roundabouts to slow traffic down and to make it a more,
Pedestrian-friendly?
pedestrian-friendly area. I don't know whether that would work here, but maybe our planner could look at that, some aspects of those kinds of things.
That would be
Yeah.
county, though, more than,
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly kind of make policy recommendations. It would have to be at the county level. Not sure how far Sheets' 50,000 donation will go towards that, but no. But yeah, we can certainly look at that. And in looking at the zoning map, and this is a discussion that will be at the steering committee, and then it'll be presented eventually to Planning Commission when we present the full draft. But I think there's still room to kind of focus on Garfield and 14 as that central community business, central business district, and then Utica along the west kind of becomes more commercial neighborhood with, of course, that general commercial rezoning, which we can't change. That's kind of a first thought, but, as we move through the zoning ordinance, we'll flesh that out a little bit more, and I'm sure we're kind of playing, ideally, we would have updated the zoning ordinance closer to the last master plan update, so now we're kind of playing zoning ordinance before master plan again, but I think they can work, and they can coincide as well as we develop kind of both of those.
Well, now, the zoning ordinance, we're looking at the broad picture in that.
Correct.
Okay. Because there's some specific things, and you hit on one, illumination, that came up at the last ZBA meeting. And I think you want to handle that later, so we'll handle that later. But anyway, there's a couple of items like that that need to be handled this year also.
I think, the issue becomes, and I know we're doing some advanced ordinance amendments with the driveway, that's kind of been in the works since before we even started this ordinance update. But I think the concern is that if we keep doing kind of advanced updates, we won't ever have the full update because it's taking away from the time for that full update. Again, open to discussion, but that is the kind of initial concern.
Didn't understand it.
I'm not, thank you. Are you saying the full update?
So the full
just don't
update
have
will,
time to do
will encompass issues like lighting, issues like building materials. If we keep kind of piecemealing it out, it takes away from like completing the actual zoning, the full zoning ordinance.
Like we did with the sign.
Because we have
Signs
to
take
focus
up,
on it.
that was a big thing.
So when you focus on it that narrowly, it takes a lot longer. But it will be addressed, I mean, in the full ordinance update.
Okay, then I want you to keep in mind new building materials, because we're getting a lot of ZBA action on new building materials because we're only allowed masonry and brick now, and we have one that's coming up tomorrow night for Wednesday night, sorry. Another variance for materials there, just like Mr. Car Wash did. And then the lighting problems that we ran in with Mr. Car Wash are another one. So I want to make sure that that somehow gets handled. And, okay.
And Commissioner Farina, with the okay from the other members, you can go ahead and give us your comments on the illumination, the lighting,
Okay.
right now, if you'd like. Go ahead, so some of the members understand where you're coming from.
At our last meeting, Mr. Car Wash came in and said they'd taken readings, and they took readings like directly under the light. And they said they are above in like Myers. That it's more candle power than is called for in our ordinance. Well, to me, when I looked at the ordinance, I thought average. You take it under the light, you take it 10 feet away from the light, it's different, and you average the whole thing. That's not what our ordinance says. So we had to make a ruling based on what the ordinance said. All right. And our ordinance is not in line with like what Sterling Heights does, and it's not in line with what Warren does.
We're way out there.
Yeah.
We didn't even have LED when they wrote that thing.
Right. So anyway, and he had a bunch of readings that, of course, he took, and he said, this city hall is not in line with the ordinance, because he went directly under the light and took it, because our ordinance doesn't say where to take it. So that's the issue that came up and created a problem. So that's why I'd like that handled, Then, again, the other one was with new materials. We're limited in what we can do. And I understand that 25 years ago, when the ordinances went in, brick and masonry were the standard, And now there are other things that are very, very nice. If you look at what they just done on 15 Mile Road, it's very nice. I mean, some of the stuff that these guys are coming up with are very, very attractive. And these things now weather better than they used to. So those are my thoughts on those items and why I wanted them to be brought up.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Farina.
Okay.
Any other comments? Okay. We are going to go to our next item, 7, unfinished business.
Chair Zarnicki,
Ex-
actually,
go ahead.
I think we are looking for a motion to submit this to city council.
Oh,
And then
I'm
zoning
sorry.
board will also take a
Yes,
motion.
the annual report.
I'll
Yep.
move to
Not-
submit the reports to city council.
Second.
Would you like that to be as with the adding the building materials to the zoning?
Yes.
Okay, and I can,
It's
okay.
our work plan.
Yep, I will do that then.
And I didn't hear who supported.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved by Commissioner Farina and support by Commissioner Tuller to forward our annual planning and zoning report and our 2025 work plan to City Council. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes, that's not my motion.
Okay, what is it?
The planning commission, zoning will make their own motion tomorrow, on Wednesday night.
Okay, so it's, okay. It's the planning
Right.
without the zoning report.
Right.
Correct, okay. Understood. Any other comments on the motion? Okay, Mr. Clerk, would you please take a roll call?
Barr is absent. Sarnecki?
Yes.
Farina?
Yes.
Kyle? Yes. Meyer?
Yes.
Tuller?
Yes.
Warnick?
Yes.
And let the record reflect, there's still no one in the audience for any comments. Agenda item 7, unfinished business, driveway expansion, text amendments. Ms. Seer.
Thank you, Chair Zarnicki. So Mr. Denault and I sat down and walked through some proposed amendments to the current ordinance, which doesn't allow for any sort of expansion. Again, as we've kind of covered time and time again, the ordinance is outdated. It's likely not anticipating folks having more than 2 cars, but that's just not the case. And a lot of homes in Fraser either have expanded their driveway either without a permit or, when the different ordinance was in place. So I printed out, just for reference, some examples. The first page is examples of ways that people have been expanding their driveway, just for reference on kind of what we're dealing with. And then the following pages go into what those approximate coverages might look like for different homes. So essentially, we're looking to amend the ordinance in a couple areas. The first being in the definitions, providing a definition for a driveway so that it's clear what a driveway actually is. And again, this draft is essentially a full concept draft. I think something similar happened with the sign ordinance. We had a full concept draft, but then, the attorneys and the engineers will still work out kind of final details. Mr. Vigneron looked at this, and Mr. Barrett, the DPW superintendent, also reviewed this. Mike is going to do a more he's going to do additional spatial analysis to see what different neighborhoods in different districts can support, just to really solidify these maximum coverage numbers towards the bottom. But, so this draft is in full concept form, but it's not finalized. And essentially, in looking at what other communities have done, we believe that the best practice would be to, in amending 3292, which is that original provision, to break out the requirements by if the home has an attached garage, a detached garage, or no garage, and then allowing essentially the width of the garage plus 9 feet for an additional car, essentially. Some caveats are that we would like, so the driveway must use the side yard first before using the front yard if it's expanding past the garage, and this is to stop people from paving into their front yard. Additionally, if the driveway does exceed the width of the garage, the expansion has to taper from the sidewalk, where the sidewalk meets the driveway. So parking, again, we'll keep the parking shall be restricted to paved areas. Driveways must adhere to the impervious surface maximums, and this is what Commissioner Warnock was referencing a few meetings ago with those maximums. What they wanted to change was in section 32-144, subsection 4. Additionally, another change is that the permission of horseshoe drives on corner lots, on the frontage without the garage frontage, and these have to be, the width of these can't exceed 9 feet, and this is to provide access to the front doors, which are likely not on the garage side on those corner lots. And then the final one, the provision about the paving proposed on the side yard being a reverse pitch. Mr. Vigneron was proposing some alternatives, such as a side swale for those, so we're still finalizing that. But the intent of this provision is essentially to minimize the impact to neighbors when paving. And then, so I think, sorry, I apologize, I think in the memo it's wrong. It's actually not 144, it's 122, so I apologize, that's the industrial districts. In the previous one about impervious surface maximums, so it's actually 122.4. But these are
That's the one that's wrong? The one up above, not the one below?
yeah, the one up above is, sorry, 144 is industrial, that's my
I have
bad.
them circled and questioned.
Yeah, my bad. Another mistake I want to note is that I believe that these maximums should actually be switched. The RM should have the larger one.
Oh, switch the percentages.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yes, I was
Yep.
wondering that myself.
Yep, apologies for that one.
So ARM should be 40%? Isn't it?
Yes, that should be the 40-50.
Yeah.
I can move through these on the screen again. You have them in front of you. This is just kind of taking a look at what 45 in the RM, which I guess would be more 50, but what 50 looks like in the RM, what 45 looks like, and then what 70. And of course, 70 is kind of what we're trying to avoid.
Yes. Yes. That's helpful. Thank you, Lauren.
Similarly, some attached garages, of course, it's easier to get less with attached garages. They're not paving to the back. So you can see these on average are lower. And then in the RL district, similarly, kind of there's a 40%, 35, and 78 as well. Again, 78's what we're not hoping for, trying to avoid. I guess that being said, any questions, comments, concerns on this draft?
My question is, I mean, you mentioned in the memo about the public hearing in February, but what I heard you, there still needs to be some little additions to the report. Are we still having a public hearing in February, or has it been?
That's at the discretion of the Planning Commission. I think that the changes, unless Planning Commission, again, like, open to discussion, unless Planning Commission has massive concerns, the changes would be essentially specifying that if there's no sidewalk, that it would be to the right-of-way. That's where the taper would start. That's in that, that's in like on the chart, the subscript B. Section D, finalizing the correct way to word, and then something that's enforceable for minimizing impact to neighbors, whether that's a side swale or up pitch. And then there might be some slight changes to the maximum percentage based on Mr. Vigneron's findings. He did note that currently the storm system is operating at a capacity higher than it was intended, but he's not received any complaints about it, so it is still operating to his knowledge as it should.
Okay. Do I still hear you saying you want it for February? Has it been notified? Notice for February?
It has not. I would.
Do you have time for that?
We do have time for that,
You? Okay.
but we would need Planning Commission to approve and say that they would like to move forward with that. Otherwise, we can come back with those finalized numbers and we can push till March. It's, again, we want to do it right. We also want to provide some relief to folks who have been looking for this for months now, almost a year. So it's kind of weighing those, but at the end of the day, we will do what, Planning Commission would like, so.
But city council has to rule on it after we're done, right?
City Council would have to adopt.
And
yeah.
they're going to be in the middle of a budget. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to get in there until April anyway.
I think we need to take our time on this a little more. I'd like to go through the city myself because there's a lot of different situations that we're not encompassing, like people that have no way to get to their rear yard or side of the house. We got houses that are overbuilt for the size of the lot. And these are all existing. It's not new subs. That's easy in new subs because we stop all that.
So the reality is there's not going to be a perfect formula to catch everything. Mr. Donald and I went back and forth for a long time looking at a lot of different instances. And, we were thinking, should we do it based on a certain amount of paved area, like a square footage? Should we do it based on this? To us, a percentage is the most fair way to do that.
Right. I think so too, like we had before, for the
But-
impervious surface.
Again, we can see what Mr. Vigneron's findings are and finalize those numbers.
Yeah. I think I'm just talking about what people can't do. There's no way they can even achieve some of them, or because of the front yard thing, because they can't do anything to get to the side or the rear, so they got to do something to the front. And we're more restrictive to the front, of course, because we want more pervious surface there.
Sure, and I will note if there are, since we kind of established that there's not going to be a catch-all, if there is a unique circumstance, residents can apply for variances. That's always
Except
an
that
option.
but we're talking about existing stuff. We want that existing.
Yeah, of course, the intent's never to create situations where folks need, a lot of people need variances. It's a little inevitable. Again, there's so many unique situations in Fraser, but.
What's the preference of other commissioners?
I'm with Randy.
With Randy, you want to hold off, everybody? Sort of? Okay, Ms. Sarah, I think it's the member's decision to come back with some of the changes, and we'll review it one more time before the public hearing.
Okay, and this is just a discussion item, so we don't need a motion, but
Okay.
we will come back in February with updated language.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item 8 is the public communication on non-agenda items. I'm not aware of any. Agenda item 9 is the monthly report, December 2024. Ms. Sarah, do you have any report on this?
I'll note that the city assessor and planning department and attorney's office are currently working through the lot split, lot combination rezoning process with the applicant. It's a lengthy one, so we're in communication with the applicant about that regarding the sheets. Otherwise, none of the other items, all the other items are items that the planning commission has seen or that Mr. Farina's mentioned that are coming before the zoning board
Right.
this week.
You didn't mention the big boys. Are they done?
They're not done yet.
1 year. Okay.
Members have any questions on the report? Any comments? Okay, we can move forward. Agenda item 10, Zoning Board of Appeals, Member Liaison Report, Commissioner Farina.
Hi. Well, we kind of went through it at the last meeting. Mr. Carwash came before us, and we did not have a full board. And we asked the question of what we could do, what was the requirement for it, and we tried to look it up. And collectively, we made a wrong decision, and the attorney then notified Lauren, and she notified the rest of us that it has to be redone. You might have noticed in your package this month, there was a whole new set of bylaws for the planning commission. And then anybody on zoning board got a whole new set of bylaws also. It might be a good idea for you to take any old sets of bylaws, because that's kind of what happened last time, is we looked at the wrong bylaws. And throw out the old ones and just replace them in your notebook. Does everybody have a notebook? Okay, yeah. I didn't know whether they gave everybody a notebook or not. That was something I was going to ask. So that would be, preferential thing to do. And I'm sure our attorney has it down pat, right?
My notebook right here.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a clarification. It's not new bylaws because we vote on bylaws. So it's just the existing ones that we,
The newest,
the newest, right? Okay.
they just gave us,
2017.
they just gave us individual pages to put in the last time.
Okay,
And somebody had a set that we were looking at that were older than,
okay,
The newest 6-year-old bylaws.
okay. All right. Any questions for Commissioner Farina?
it was all the business. Oh, I have received an applicant, so we will finally be at a full board if he's accepted by city council and that, so that's good news. Makes voting a little easier.
And you had 2 reappointments for your board also?
Correct.
Right, yeah.
And they've been reappointed.
Good. Thank you, Commissioner Farina. Agenda item 11, Commissioners' comments. Go ahead, Mr. Farina.
I want to thank Lauren. You notice this year that there's pictures with the yearly report? I asked her to do that because I saw it in something I got from another city, and I think it makes it much easier when you're going back trying to look at it. You don't have to pull the package up to
I
see what
agree.
it was about.
Totally. I thought you
So,
did it for
thank-
last year, but if not, then it's great.
Thank you.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, so, other than that, my heart goes out to Ms. Barr. It's never easy to have a family death, but when your children go before you, it's extremely hard.
Agree.
So, our prayers for her.
Thank you, Commissioner Farina.
That's it.
Commissioner Teller, you have any comments?
Not today. Go Lions.
Go Lions is right.
I'll be here Saturday night.
Oh, rub it in,
Enjoy.
okay.
Enjoy.
Commissioner Meyer?
Just that I agree with Frank that our hearts and prayers go out to Commissioner Barr.
Yes. Yes. Commissioner Kyle?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Warner, Chair Warner?
Yeah, especially because Joanne's gone through so much in all her years here and that, so definitely prayers there. The other thing I just wanted to, maybe we get with a different attorney, having a substitute on this board, in each board, I think is big. I got other cities and townships that have a substitute.
Alternate, let's call him.
An alternate, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
And that's the word I wanted. And it just takes, when, you know, we're trying to do the best. These people pay for us to give them our full board, and it's not going to happen all the time because the things come up. And it would be nice to have an alternate, and I just don't know what's the process of going through that.
I think it has to, I could be wrong, I think it has to be in our bylaws or in our zoning ordinance, I don't know.
I can take a look. It's a good question. Our firm represents multiple municipalities, and I have not heard that question come up before, but it's definitely a good one, and I can look into it and get back to you on it.
Don actually brought that up to us a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we talked about it, I know before.
But we haven't been able to fill our boards.
Right, that was always the problem. At that time especially, it was worse because we had 2 or 3 openings on ZBA,
Because,
one
actually,
here.
John voluntarily
A stand-in.
So what was the process? Do you remember what the process was to try to get the alternate?
Well, we have to advertise for an alternate. First, you have to fill the board.
But do we have to get it into the bylaws first? And
Bylaws or something like that, I would think has to be in there somewhere.
that's
Let me look into it. I mean, there could be part of the.
Michigan
Yeah, there could be the Planning Enabling Act might provide for something like that. I would just have to look into it.
You know what, I didn't even think of looking at
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah,
what I should have.
that's definitely possible that it
Yeah.
could be in there, and,
I'm sure it is because of other ones that I know do it. And I thought, that's a great idea, and it just, how many people we go and then we got to confront them and tell them, do you want to wait because we're not giving you the benefit of a full board? And it would solve, I think, a lot of them if we can provide a full board when we know somebody can't. There's going to be emergencies and things like that, but a lot of times we know that we can't make it. And if we could get somebody to fill in, that would be ideal. Of course, they have to be up to date. The biggest problem with that is if they weren't at the meeting before that and we got somebody coming back.
Right.
And they don't know all the things that
Right,
happen
and
at that,
you
but
know,
they can get up on it.
Planning Commission is very, it's
More
a challenge. It's really, you have to know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You have to be aware of a lot of stuff. You know, the zoning ordinance, the master plan, a lot of education here.
It's just nice when you look in here and you see again, because I think we always forget, you don't have to be a resident for one of the seats, right?
No, because when I.
If you look
started on
right
the
in
board-
here, it's right on,
That
in
is-
ours.
You are correct.
Yeah, when I started on the board, there was somebody that lived in another city. who said-
And that's because we can get, I mean, you get a business owner that might want to be on the board,
Well, we almost had one.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out, so yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So, but that's the things to look at, you know, so.
Right.
I'm looking at the bylaws right now. I'm looking specifically in the sections that deal with membership and vacancies, and I don't see anything that jumps out at me, but I'll do more research on that question and get back to you guys on it.
Mr. Gischlag, do you have anything to say?
Yes, the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board were all adamant about getting their IDs so that the city could have an ID card for you, and only 2 people have gone to get them so far. So,
I have one.
I got one.
there's only like 2 people that went. So go back to your email and make an appointment with Nikki. She's still, I mentioned it to one of our CRO, anyone come see you yet? She's like, no. So go get your IDs, they're available, just take a picture, it'll just take a couple days, so.
Yeah, and it's very quick, yeah. I don't know, you might want mine updated. I was very young with my picture.
Ellen, keep it, girl. Dear Abby, that thing.
Afraid to
Ms.
go into the
Sierra, do you
police
have anything to
department,
say?
I'll echo everyone's sentiments about Joanne's daughter and extend my condolences, but nothing else at this time. Thank you.
And Alexander?
Same, that's tragic, and I talked to Don about it a little earlier, and he had looked at the obituary, and
Yeah, I know.
very, very sad, so definitely praying for them.
Thank you. I guess I really don't have anything, except for Joanne also, and I did speak to her on the phone today, and she seemed to be holding up very well, so it was, my email mentioned that she's going to care for her daughter's dog, and I could hear the dog barking in the background. It was like, I think it's going to be a good friend to Joanne, so my sympathy to her and her family. I just want to say congratulations to the members who were reappointed to our Planning Commission Board, and also to the new officers for 2025. And that's it. Agenda item 12, adjournment. I have a motion to adjourn.
You did say we don't start for another 3 months, though, right?
I'll second that motion.
I think it's been moved by Commissioner Kyle and support by Commissioner Commissioner Teller to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay, or none, and it's being adjourned at 8:34 PM.
Good meeting, everybody.